ain't gon' remember me. But being in these streets and slanging heat ain't duck no enemies. I want the toughest nigga, I ain't never prayed up on a week. And your little baby mama live.
What's going on, YouTube? Today we got that Tupac 1988 high school interview. We finally finna jump into it. So without further ado, let's get it.
That's okay.
You're dressed right for it.
And he said he's been a little chilly, so this is good for him.
Oh.
So somebody will enjoy the heat in here.
Okay. Anytime.
Okay, my name is Tupacshakur, and I attend Tampapai High School, and I'm 17 years old.
Do you like being 17?
Look at my bro. Why he looking shy in this video, man?
And it's like 17 is such a weird age. It's such a in the middle age. You're not 18 yet, and you're older than 16. So. But I like it. It's nice. It's like a learning stage for me.
Do you wish you could be 18 and when you get some more rights?
Well, 18 will bring lots of responsibilities that I don't want, but it'll bring respect that I feel like that's the only way I can get it. You know, I try to be as mature as I can be and demand it wherever I can get it. But 18 is like, you're an adult. You like today when I had to sign the release form, I felt so bad because I couldn't sign it myself. I had to go and get my mother's and all that. But 18 it's just society's way of saying that you're ready. But 17, like, I think I'm ready now, as ready as I'm gonna be in this world. But so it's okay. I guess 17 is all right.
Do you think that you should be given more responsibilities, or that you have much more value than adults place on you because of your age?
Well, the way that my mother brought me up is no lies, no, total truth. Everything is real in society. Everything. Yeah. If something's going on wrong in the house, I know everything. So it was like I was given the responsibility before I wanted it, and so now I can't really differentiate what great responsibility is because I've had it for so long. So she taught me how to be ready for it, and so that's good. And I think it's good because I know that, and it's taught me that when you get out there, the responsibility is staggering, and I'm ready. I'm going to be a little more ready than someone who's grown up in Disney World, with Santa Claus is coming. And so, I think I'm growing up good and also about responsibilities and everything.
What do you think is the hardest thing about being a kid or being your age?
The hardest thing about being my age is proving to society that I understand what's going on. Like, not everybody, but frequently, teenagers are stereotyped in being loud music loving, girl chasing, car wanting, not caring about the world, cokeheads, drinking coke and smoking and being drug addicts, and I mean, it's want the car and loud music, but I like to think of myself as really being socially aware. And not just socially aware as being trendy, being peace. Not that. I really think that that teenagers, they got a lot of responsibilities and a lot of burdens because, in fact, we're given a horrible world. We're given the gift that we're getting when we got to take over is horrible. They left us. They're leaving this world in bad shape for us to fix up. So I think that we deserve a lot of respect. Because, in the 60s, they changed a lot, and those teenagers were given respect because they changed a lot, and they did a lot.
It's the fact that, how they say time repeats itself, it's the fact that even his generation saw their older generation as how we be talking about the people that be, like, my generation talk about his generation, and the younger generation talk about my generation, like, we're his generation. He talking about people in the 60s, he like, this was what, 88? That's crazy. It's like, damn, dude, y'all were the last generation that made everything right. We came and messed it up because everybody's so entitled. All my peers thought they was entitled. I'm not gonna do my kids like this. Getting whoopings is wrong now. When I'm talking about no cafeteria cooks, you can't leave your front door open anymore. You can't leave it unlocked. You can't have. When the last time you seen a block party that was peaceful? it's like I'm looking at them like the ghosts. He's looking at people before him. Oh man, that just threw me off.
No respect, and we have to do a lot. I mean, the world ain't no secret, but the world is bad shit. So we have to do a lot. We have to do a lot of good things. So I think we deserve a little bit more respect.
And why do you think it is that adults don't give you the respect you deserve?
Fear. They're scared. They're scared of watching us grow up. They're scared that when we get the power or responsibilities that we won't be able to handle it. And they're scared that well, I don't think, in this generation, I don't think that a lot of adults put enough into their children. I'm glad my mother did, but I don't think that a lot of children are growing up lost in the sauce. And I think that they're scared.
Man, it's freaking crazy he's saying all this, bro. Like we don't even have, we like literally nowadays joke about Thanksgiving because nobody cooks anymore because everybody grandmas done died because of COVID and stuff. And it's like we don't have anyone that actually cooks anymore. And he talking about they don't instill in their children back then. Y'all were the last hope.
Because they're realizing it now that I didn't teach him this, I didn't teach him that. Where did he learn it? Look at unsafe sex and drugs, and you can tell if you look at the statistics, they're staggering again, you know. And so I think they're scared because they're realizing that they goofed, they really messed up, and also they fear teenagers are angry. At least this generation seems a little angrier than me and a little bit more rebellious.
They are.
And uninvolved, so they're scared because they're realizing that, you know, what's gonna happen when we get all these people in power. But also just because it's human nature to be scared to watch a child grow up, and you don't want to give him that yet.
Well, what do you see are some of the major differences between being a kid or being an adult?
It was funny being a kid, like my little cousin Hiroji. He's 3, and everything to him is happy. The only thing that makes him unhappy is when things are over, when you turn something off, and when the television goes off, when it's time to go to bed, or when he has to come in the house. Everything is over. That's bad, you know. And when you're an adult, when something is over, that's like, it's the opposite, you know. When it's over, it's good, you know. You just, I'm off work, it's over, you know. Vacation, it's over. Oh, God, she's out of the house. My children in college, it's over. Oh my God. And so it's that difference. And children see things so great. If the world can, what happens is that adults complicate things and children don't. As simple as this: the sky is blue. And adults, when they go, the sky is blue. Why is it blue? Because birds and bees and
that sounds like
everything
government.
Wasn't meant to be analyzed.
Government.
And that's where a lot of problems came in, I think. And that's where I think kids are happier. Kids are definitely happier and more relaxed than adults.
Do you think if parents or adults had happier childhoods, they would be better off when they grow up? I mean, like a lot of people say, if you have a troubled childhood, you lack self-esteem when you grow up.
No, actually, I think it's, well, okay, from my mother's point, well, if you grew up happy, too happy, you know, like in fairy tale land, not fairy tale, I mean, if you grew up where, you know, every Christmas you got a present, and every birthday you got a present, and every holiday was a holiday, and everything was peachy, your parents took care of everything, and you just grew up. I don't think that prepares you for the world. You know, my mother had a really bad childhood, and my father had a bad childhood, and I had a bad childhood, but I love my childhood. Even though it was bad, I love it. I feel like it's taught me so much, and I feel like nothing can faze me. You know, nothing in this world, nothing can surprise me.
That's what it's for.
It might set me back, but only momentarily, only to spring back. And
yeah, you can't see, people be thinking that you're supposed to be drama free all the time and you're supposed to be peaceful. Yeah, it's good to be happy, but you gotta have something. You can't evolve it if you don't learn how to grow from something, man. You'll never know. You're not supposed to touch fire until you touch it. You'll never know what a lot of stuff don't get taught to you till you get to ask no question. You don't ask questions until something happens to you. A lot of people get to that point where they always have everybody do stuff for them, then they wonder why they always get irritable so fast.
since my mother had a bad childhood, she knows the importance of being honest and the importance of facing each situation as it comes and not dealing in a fairy tale land. Being realistic about the problem and analyzing it and solving it. See what you can do to solve it. So if you have a happy childhood, you tend to want your child to have a happy childhood. So you tend to want to keep the bad things out. And I don't think that's good because you don't prepare them for the world.
Yes.
So basically, you have to be realistic with your kids.
Right, definitely have to be realistic.
Right.
You should tell them. But don't get the wrong idea.
Yeah, people be trying to. I hate that, because some people gonna take that statement and be like, why would I want my child to be suffering? Like, oh my God.
I mean, everybody knows that. Good things are going to come, and you're going to see them for yourself. You're going to see that they're good. But it's harder to see the bad things, and everybody wants to shield the bad things, and that's where it gets complicated and it gets real rotten. That's when everybody gets surprised and, oh my God, I'm committing suicide. That's too much, overwhelming. If you know about it, it won't be so overwhelming.
Right. The joke, you said that.
So how do you keep so positive? You say that you had a problem childhood, but yet you seem like you've gotten above that.
Oh, is that, you know, like if you are lost in the wilderness and you have a guide, then it's not like being lost. It's like learning new things as you go through. So when you finally get through, you forgot where you were going to. You just want to talk about the path that you just went. And that's how I feel. Like life, my childhood was just totally lost at first because, okay, I gotta go to the beginning. My mother was a Black Panther, and she was really involved in the movement, you know, just Black people bettering themselves and things like that. My father was a hustler, street hustler, you know. I think he, you know, sold drugs and everything. And how did they get together is beyond me, but he just saw her as a woman doing something, and like, you know.
Y'all ever get to like talking to your friends and family members and asking them like, how did you meet mom? How did you meet dad? Them be the funniest conversations, because when they think they all have that same expression, it'll always be two expressions. They'll be like, ooh, or it'll be one of those. I'm petty as hell. Like, I swear to God, I would be so petty if I ever like had a kid and he asked me like, how do you meet up with mom? Bro, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm like, I'll literally be so honest.
So my mother and father both had bad childhoods. And I never knew who my father was. I met him, but he died, and that was horrible, but got over that. My mother it's like she actually did take me through life. You know, when I discovered some, first I rebelled against her because she was in a movement, and we never spent time together because she was always speaking and going to colleges and everything. And then after that was over, it was more time spent with me, and we were both just like, you're my mother, and she was like, you're my son, and what do we do? So then she was really close with me and really strict almost. But now I can see how it paid off because, like, I can talk to my mother about drugs. I can talk to my mother about sex, anything. I can ask her anything and bring it up, and she'll go, okay, well, this is and I can say, Ma, I'm really curious about this drug. And she'll go, I did it, and this is what happened, and I don't think you should.
I mean, do you think other kids can talk to their parents as easily as you can to yours?
No, I don't think so. Because I speak to my friends, to them, and they're baffled. They're like, my friends can call my mother by her first name. That's a small thing, but it's a big thing to them because they could just come in the house and go, how you doing, Faye? And this is what happened at school. Because she speaks to them. She gives teenagers the respect they deserve unless they show that they're not worthy of that respect. And they like that. They really do like that. And they react well. That's why I have that philosophy about respect. Because my mother she's totally brilliant, totally understanding and caring. And she's human. I mean, she has mistakes, and we have our little tists, but I understand them so much. I mean, she'll be wrong a lot, and we can talk about it. So, but a lot of kids can't talk to their parents about drugs because their parents don't trust them to make the decision, so they make the decision for them. And a lot of kids can't talk to their parents about sex because they don't trust them. They think, oh, he's talking about sex, he's out there doing it. So they don't trust them in that, you know? So, plus their parents are just like beat red as soon as you bring up the word fornication. But my mother's totally just I was scared at first, but I just brought it up one day and we spent hours talking about drugs, sex, and society, and 60s and 70s and 30s and everything. And we just get along really good.
So you consider her like a good friend?
Yeah, a really good friend. But she's still my mother. I mean, I still, like last night I came home at 2:30 and she went, "You can't come home that late anymore." And I was like, "It's the weekend." We had an argument about that. But also it's things that, you know, like, I mean, we talk about things, you know, do you think you should be punished? And I explain it to her, and I really get to talk to her. So she's my guide through life. So I'm really enjoying myself, but it's just that everybody doesn't think like us. So society, I mean, poverty it's no joke. Being poor and having this philosophy is worse because, you know, if money was nothing, if there was no money and everything depended on your moral standards and the way that you behaved and the way that you treated people, we'd be millionaires. We'd be rich. But since it's not like that, then we're stone broke. We're just poor because our ideals always get in the way. Since we're not yup people, and we're always, wait a minute, let me think about that, then people tend to go, nope, I guess I don't want you for the job, and I guess you just won't, you know? And so that's the only thing that I'm bitter about, is growing up poor because I missed out on a lot of things. Still growing up poor, you know, I miss out on a lot of things, and I can't always have what I want, or even things that I think I need. So I missed a lot of things like that. But I know rich people or people just well off who are lost. So I feel like my mother made a lot of decisions in her life, and that's what we always say. She could have chose to go to college and got a degree in something, and right now been well off, but she chose to analyze society and fight and do things better. So this is the payoff. And she always tells me that the payoff to her is that me and my sister grew up good and we have good minds and everything, and we're ready for society, but we just didn't have money and we didn't have the things like that.
It'd
so
be like that.
that's the only bad thing, I think, is poverty. If I hated anything, it'd be that.
What do you think is one of the most important things that your mother taught you?
My mother taught me 3 things: respect, knowledge, search for knowledge. It's an eternal journey. That's like my haircut, the line. 360 degrees, find knowledge, always. And she taught me to not be quiet. If there's something on my mind, speak it. That's what that was the breath. She always taught, but also to listen. And she told me this little joke that God gave you 2 ears to listen and 1 mouth to speak. 2 ears and 1 mouth. Common sense. 1 mouth, you should speak, but you should also listen. And that's where the knowledge comes from, listening. And once you get the knowledge, then you can speak. And it helps you. So she taught me respect, knowledge, and understanding, mostly. You know, just listen a lot.
Do you think more parents should listen to their kids more?
Definitely. Oh, definitely. Definitely. But not being a yup parent, like yup people, you know, just not being, oh, yes, dear, I understand. Yes, you can go to the party. That doesn't help. Those produce even worse kids because it produces ambitious but unready children, you know, and those where our martyrs come from, you know. So I think they should listen but analyze what they're saying. Just don't push them through the path and don't hold them from going to the path, but help them through the path. Mm-hmm. That's what I think should happen.
Right. Well, how do you think you're most like your mom?
I'm most like my mom because I'm arrogant. Totally arrogant. I agree. I have to say it. Like at work, I can't hold a job. I just quit my job today, actually, because I wanted to come and do this. And they wouldn't let me. And I felt like it was important, and it was more important than serving pizza. And we had enough people, so I felt like since I'm an actor, they should understand. They should have let me do it, but they didn't. And then I had a cold, so they were making me work in a freezer. And I'm really not one to be disrespected, and I felt like that was disrespectful because I asked to go, you know. So I quit, and he told me I couldn't quit. And that even made me hyper. I'm arrogant, so when he told me I couldn't quit and we had all these customers, I chose that time to jump on a soapbox, grab my leather jacket, light a cigarette in front of him, smoke, and leave in the middle of a rush. So that was natural. That's arrogance at the top. That's what I think I'm most like my mother. And she likes it. She'll see it in me and know it. And we clash a lot because I'm arrogant, she's arrogant. And you should see us when we get in our little attitude moves. It's like husband and wife, or it's brother and sister. But it's father, mother, and it's really father, mother, and son. She's my father and mother. So, yeah, we getting out tips and everything. But it's good.
That's a great story.
That's why my pizza took so long.
It was me, I admit it.
Okay, well, you were saying how much you like her. How are you most unlike her?
I'm most unlike my mother because, that's a crazy question. Well, since my mother went through the 60s and everything, she's more of a, let me think about this first, then do it. Because I know about how that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm more like of, if you get me hyped, I'm a dangerous weapon. If I'm hyper, I mean, even for, not like violent, like, but if I'm hyper to run basketball and I have to go to work, I'll be there late. If I'm hyper to do something, I can't concentrate. And my mother can really concentrate. And like in school, as much as I talk about needing education and everything, I goof in school every year. It's just I can't help it. I like popularity and I like being around people. And I just like, talking and everything. And my mother's more of a get this done and then do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're not alike, and I trust people more and I'm more open. And since she's been through those things, she's more wary.
The irony though, he literally was, the bars, bruh, he literally is put like foreshadowing what he went through. And each time he had a case in the future, it go back into this conversation he's having. He's literally saying why he was, I know a lot of times he, people would do stuff and you just wonder, like, why did you do that? Like, you gotta forget, people be forgetting that other people still have personality, they're still human. Man, it's tough. He really was like he said, a people pleaser, in a way a follower. But it's like, dang, man, he really just wanted to vibe with people, bro. And it's like, you shouldn't have to have that conversation about not being friendly to people. You shouldn't be friendly with this person, or you need to stop trusting people. You shouldn't even be that, bro. Like, why are people so scandalous, man?
Of trusting people, but she does trust people. But I'm just totally just like, oh, okay, you're my friend now, But we're more alike than we are unlike. That's really weird.
Well, you said you goof around a lot in school. Do you feel you're learning enough, or do you feel they could be doing a better job at teaching you things?
Well, I hope I don't get in trouble, but school is, I think that we got so caught up in school being a tradition that we stopped using it as a learning tool, which it should be. Like, up to this day, I mean, school should be, I think there should be a different curriculum in each and every, like, neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to Tampapi High, and I'm learning about the basics, but they're not basic for me, and it's like, they're not, to get us ready for today's world, that's not helping.
Yeah.
It's just what they took, so it's what we're gonna take,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why the streets have taught me. And but school is really important, reading, writing, arithmetic. But I think after you learn reading, writing, arithmetic, that's it. But what they tend to do is teach you reading, writing, arithmetic, then teach you reading and writing and arithmetic again, then again, just making it harder and harder, just to keep you busy.
Yeah.
And that's where I think they messed up. There should be a class on drugs.
Yep.
It should be a class on sex education, a real sex education class, not just pictures and diaphragms and unlogical terms and things like that. There should be a drug class. There should be sex education. There should be a class on scams. There should be a class on religious cults.
Yep.
There should be a class on police brutality. There should be a class on apartheid. There should be a class on racism in America. There should be a class on why people are hungry, but they're not. Their classes on gym.
Damn.
Physical education. Let's learn volleyball. Because one day we're gonna, it's their classes like algebra, where I've yet to go to a store and said, can I have XY plus 2 and
we
give
still
my Y
waiting.
change back. Thank you. I think you could let me out. I've lived alone by myself, and the things that helped me were the things that I learned from my mother and from the streets. And reading has helped me. I mean, school has taught me reading, which is I love. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's it. Like foreign languages. I think they're important, but I don't think it should be required. Because Actually, they should be teaching you English and then teaching you how to understand double talk, politicians double talk, not teaching you how to understand French and Spanish and German. When am I going to Germany? I can't afford to pay my rent in America. How am I going to Germany? You know, this is what I mean by the basics are not the basics for me. And I think that it should be like college. You can go and take the classes that you want. And I think that like
That should be
elementary
in high
school should
school.
be that way, where they give you the classes you should take for the basics,
Mhm.
and then junior high school and high school should be the classes that you need
Yeah.
in order
Yes.
to choose your
Mhm.
path.
So you feel like
Right,
your
man,
schools
that's
are not really
crazy.
listening to your kids' needs. or the
Definitely
students'
not.
needs.
Definitely
It's
not.
just kind of a place where you go to, but it's become such a tradition. They're not
Yeah.
even concerned if you're learning. It's just something you have to do.
It's just a place you go during the day to keep you busy while they're at work.
Yeah.
While they're at work, that's exactly what it is.
That's really what it is.
Are you ready to work now? Are you ready to get like a regular job, or do you?
Yeah, I've actually been working already. You know, like I've been going to school during the day, then I work 8 hours at the pizza place, then go home. And isn't it like 40-hour a week? That's what adults work, right? And that's what I'm working, 40 hours a week. I'm still not getting the respect that adults get, you know, but I don't want to keep saying like I'm worried about respect and fame and all of that. I'm just saying that, I mean, ancient civilizations have survived without going to schools like this. I mean, they've learned from their parents.
Mm-hmm.
We're not being taught to deal with the world as it is.
Yeah.
We're being taught to deal with this fairyland, which we're not even living in anymore. And it's sad, because I'm telling you, and it should not be me telling you. It
Right.
should be common knowledge. Aren't they wondering why death rates are going up and suicide is going up and
Mhm.
drug abuse? Aren't they wondering? Don't they understand
Oh, they know.
that more people more kids are being handed crack than they're being handed diplomas? I
Damn.
mean, it shouldn't, like, okay, in school we're learning to analyze, and then, well, I learned it, now they should relearn it. I think adults should go through school again.
Damn.
You know, I think that rich people should live like poor people, and poor people should live like rich people, and it should change every week. And I mean, everywhere. Look at civilizations. Look how we grew. You know, and I think we need to learn from our mistakes and stop just going through emotions, which we're doing now. It's like we're waiting for some big button to be pushed or something like that.
Can you do anything about that, Tupac? I mean, what can you do when you grow up, right?
Okay.
That you can make a difference.
Well, as it is, and it's honestly, I feel this way. But society is like it's like, you know those little things they have for the mice where they go through around a circle. There's little blocks for it and everything. Well, society is like that. They'll let you go as far as you want, but as soon as you start asking too many questions and you're ready to change, boom, their block will come. And for me, and I hope this doesn't start anything, but for me, since I'm living in a slummish area and I'm black, mines will come through being a statistic. You know, I'll get caught up in all of this, and one day I'll be with my friends and they'll go, let's go out, party. We don't have a car. Let's steal a car. Forget it. You know, let's just borrow a car. We'll steal a car and I'll go to jail for 16 years and come out and be bitter.
Damn.
Knowing all of this, saying all of this, but be bitter, you know?
Yeah.
And it should be, like the past elections, watching Jesse Jackson run and watching Dukakis run. Those two people, Jesse Jackson and Dukakis, two people who I thought were there it is. I said, all right, finally we're going to get a better America. But what happened? Bush won. I couldn't believe it, because every time I asked people, who would you have voted for? And everybody goes, Dukakis. But how did Bush win? I keep wondering. And then that just makes me rebel more against society, because it's supposed to represent the people. I don't want Bush in government. I spent 8 years of my 17 years on this earth under Republicans, under Ronald Reagan, under an ex-actor who lies to the people, who steals money, and who's done nothing at all for me.
They all
And I don't
bad.
think Bush is a bad person or a bad president, because for the upper class, he's a perfect president. And that's how society is built.
Yeah.
The upper class run it while we talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, the middle class and lower class, we talk about it. And for the working class, we're just lost. We're going through the motions. We're the worker bees. And they get to live like royalty.
Do you think when you're talking about classes, do you think children or kids are sometimes considered a lower class?
Yeah, I think so. But they're even Even with children, there are classes. Like even at TAM, there's the lower Marin City class. There's the low white class, the lower white class. There's the middle class white class and the middle class black class, and there's the middle class. There's the upper class white and upper class black, and that's a shame that it has to be cut in so many pieces, because it all boils down to this one piece of money. That how can this is a big question and no one's been able to answer it, and this is staggering. How can Reagan live in the White House, which has a lot of rooms, and there'd be homelessness, and he's talking about helping homelessness? This is what I mean about practicality. All right, if there's someone homeless in Washington, D.C., if there's homelessness, and he has the White House, which has 1,000...
That is kind of crazy, though. I'm not going to hold you, because what do y'all be using all those empty rooms for?
1,000 rooms. Why can't he take some of them people off the street and put them in his White House?
You know why.
Because he doesn't want to get dirty.
Yeah.
The White House would be a little tainted, and when his rich people from Jamaica and everything comes to see him, they'll be, oh, these people, and that's dumb. He wants to build houses and everything. Let him stay in the White House. All those rooms are not being used.
I'm telling you.
Then he'll have people from the streets to help him make with his ideas. These people that are homeless have done things. They haven't been homeless forever.
I'm telling you.
They've done things in society. They've done things. They've had jobs before, and they've done things. They've worked hard. There should be an automatic. They get a house somewhere and live comfortably. There are things they can do.
Not always, though, because
and I think that's wrong.
Some people, hey, man, it always sound good, but that realism, bro, it's just that when you talk, because I talk to everybody. A lot of homeless people, man, some people be messed up for real. Some people know they messed up. Some people they're still trying to live that limelight, and they lost everything in an instant. Some of them just don't like paying bills. Some of them like the fast money on the street. Some of them don't like going home. Like, all of them got a different answer, man. All of them. And not all of them, I can't just sit there and be fake and be like they deserve it. Nah, they really don't, though. They really don't. You don't know what people have done.
I think that's really bad.
You're very interesting stuff, but you're also entertaining at the same time.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, you're in the right field, I think.
Yeah. Because it's very insightful, but it's also like we're getting a kick out of
What give me you like last year you were in New York?
Yeah.
Where?
No, last year I was in Baltimore. Year before that I spent 3 years in Baltimore, my high school years, going to the School of Performing Arts. Then, before that, I was in New York. That's where I grew up. That was my total growing up part. We moved out of New York because because of my mother's choices, and she couldn't keep her job because of her choices.
Damn.
Because it was too much. Yeah, no, she was calm now. It was totally calm, but it was like they figured out who she was, and she couldn't keep a job. That should be illegal.
Wow.
So she lost her job, and of course we were like stranded in New York. And so we're stranded in New York. So we moved to Baltimore, which was total ignorance town to me, because it was just like in Baltimore it's just ignorant. It gets me upset to talk about it. Baltimore has the highest rate of teenage pregnancy, the highest rate of AIDS within the black community, the highest rate of teens killing teens, and the highest rate of teenage suicide, and the highest rate of blacks killing blacks in Baltimore, Maryland. And this is where we chose to live. So as soon as I got there, being the person I am, I said, no, I'm changing this. So I started a Stop the Killing campaign, and safe sex campaign, and AIDS prevention campaign, and everything. And then I came back, and I felt like I did a lot of good. I did good things and everything. Came back. The second week I was in California, I got a call, and 2 of my friends were shot dead in the head. 2 of the friends that were working with me were shot dead in the head. And it's just like, why try? Because this is what happens. But I still try, you know? And I came to California to escape that violence that I escaped New York for. Then I went to Baltimore, escaped Baltimore for, came to California. Come to Marin City, and there's skinheads violence. There's racial violence, which I deplore. I can't stand racism in any form, shape, or color. I can't stand it. So what I did was I talked to people and everything, and what happened was TAM is really integrated. So there was a party, and it just happened that it was a white girls' party, and everybody goes. It doesn't matter. And there's racism, but it's not like that. You know, we understand each other, and we're children, and we're able to talk to each other about it. So everybody went to this party, and I was working, and I was going to go to the party right after I got off work, me and my friends. So we got off work, we're on our way to the party, we're laughing and joking, just going through, and we see our friend Jonas, who's white, and he's telling us there was a fight at the party. And I was like, what happened? He said the skinheads came and called the black people niggas and they said they had to leave, and of course there was fight. I was like, oh my God. So we were sitting there, they went home, we were sitting there talking and everything, and my friends just like, this couldn't happen in the 60s, you know, let's figure out what to do. And he just said, I know, we'll start the Black Panthers again. So we're starting the Black Panthers, but we're doing it more to fit our views, you know, less violent and more silent, you know, more knowledge to help. You know, what we really want to do is get the pride back in the black community, because
MLK version of the Black Panthers, I'm all for it. When it comes to that whole MLK versus Malcolm X argument, I'm team Malcolm X, baby. Malcolm X said all that, it doesn't make any sense for you to be peaceful. You can still be peaceful, but Malcolm X always preached, don't just sit here and let somebody put their hands on you. Martin Luther always was trying to, well, maybe you can always use your words to get out of any situation, but nah, some people, you gotta understand, some people, what they said in that movie Batman, some people just want the world to burn. Some people you can't talk to, some people you can't reason with. Some people done lost it all. Like them inmates, they done got 80 years or 100 years too in jail, and they sit here expecting them to be on their best behavior. No. Like, don't type people, some people just don't want to hear. Some people just want to see the world burn.
I feel like if you can't respect yourself, then you can't respect your race, then you can't respect another's race, then you can't respect, you know, it just has to do with respect, like my mother taught me. So what we're doing is starting the Black Panthers again in Marin City, just getting, first teaching pride, and then teaching education, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And also as a defense mechanism for the skinheads, because that's wrong, and I hate to feel helpless.
Tell me.
And so skinheads hate black people, and I'm gonna be there. I have this vision of just us growing and them decreasing, because that's how knowledge works. It's contagious, you know. And so if there was war and peace wins out. So I just want to form it and let it work. And I know the skinheads are gonna go like this. So, and I want to take, you know, I just want to learn from my mistakes. And I'm talking to a lot of the ex-members of the Panthers from the 60s, and they're helping me because they're less violent. You know, they've learned. So, and they did a lot of good things in the past, and we can do a lot of good things. So since my mother was an ex-Panther, and talking to Geronimo Pratt and a lot of ex-minister defenses and everything, so we're going to do a lot of good. I feel like we're going to do a lot of good.
Dang.
I don't know. I know as soon as I walk out, I'll go, oh, God, I should have said that. But just to end the importance of growing up just growing up in America. I loved my childhood, but I hated growing up poor, and it made me very bitter. You know, it's like, all right, now I got a job. I had to quit now. I had a job. And just today I got paid, and I have money in my pocket that I worked for, and that the greatest feeling, you know, that I worked for. I'm just getting a job, and I'm working and everything, and that feels good. But I'm still poor, you know. My family is still poor. I'm still living in a poor neighborhood. You know, I still see people poor. I still see things that, like, society, this is supposed to be a melting pot, but no one's learning from the other's mistake. And that's where the tragedy comes, because if we were all open and everything, we would learn from, like, in Marin City, I've seen already deaths. I mean, this lady slashed a man's throat because he spit on her kids, and I've seen teenagers fighting last night over girls, and I've seen guys speak to women with this much respect, and I deplore that. My mother is just totally, I grew up, my mother raised me, so I have this much respect for women, and I fight often because of that, and it gives me a lot of friends. I mean, I get a lot of friends but I get a lot of friends because I have respect for women ultra respect for women. But then, like, I was liking this girl in Tam, and I'm extra nice, you know, extra gentleman. I'm extra just like, oh, you're beautiful and you deserve the best. And she told me I was too nice.
Every time.
I couldn't believe it.
Parker always spin them bars, bro. I'm telling you, he be so relevant. They do that now.
It wouldn't work because I was too nice.
Yep.
That was the ultimate stab in the back. So I went through a week of just going, forget it, I'm just gonna be like them.
Man,
because they seem to get the girls, and they call girls the B word, you know, and they smack them.
Hey, bro.
They're getting girls, and I'm going, peace and.
Nah, it's the energy, bro. Some people like being a person with a mouthpiece. What I learned, they just love having something to say afterwards, and we sitting here thinking they like that stuff. Nah, because a female right now saying we don't like that, and somebody like, yes you do. But it's like, I get it, bro. People just be wanting to like have something. Some people just don't know how to shut up. Some people don't want you to win. Like, they really don't want you to get away with just saying what you said and like that's it. And some guys think that, oh well, should it work for this one, it's gonna work on that one too, and it just develops a pattern. Now other people doing it.
I think you're beautiful, and they're going to be, well, I like him because he's masculine.
Yeah,
I'm masculine.
Crap.
I mean,
that's really what it was.
And with the guys, I'm trying, and like yesterday he was cursing, and I was like, don't curse, and he got mad at me because I told him not to curse. But my plan is that if I keep telling girls not to let them call you these names, and if I keep saying it, it's gonna catch on, because the girls won't allow them to be their boyfriend, that they're gonna speak to them like that, and they're gonna want me. So in order to not get them to go with me, they're gonna have to change, and that's how they change. So I'll be the scapegoat, no problem, as long as it changes.
Damn,
so,
Paul.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna work. I think it'll work out. But I always wanted to make a book out of my life, like a fairy tale.
Well,
raised by the Black Panthers and strung out. So.
Yeah, I think we stopped it. Okay.
Stop there, Danny?
Dang, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. I know they probably made so much money like getting this interview out there. Cause I mean, this is like historical. This is like one of the most historical interviews from just knowing, like, I've been meaning to get to this thing, but I'm just glad I finally finished it. But hey, like, the young pop was, I think he had more time to put his ideas out there. Like the older pop did and said whatever, but he said whatever. He always gave summaries based on what he could because he didn't have any time for real to really put it down. Young pop seemed like he just, what Dave Chappelle said, the idealist. He had like a lot of ideas. I could tell he had so many ideas. When he got in the word, it's like now he got to get his energy to everybody, and I could tell that was draining. That's why a lot of interviews and phone calls, I could tell he couldn't keep it up forever, and that's kind of hurtful, man. But look, that's the end of today's video, man. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Give me to 1,000 subs. We almost at 700. Keep going. Like, share, comment, all that good stuff, man. It really does help. It works. I'm telling you, it works. But that's it. I'm out.